What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the videos and welcome to the channel. Today we're working back on the Chevy C10, and today we're planning on putting on a FITECH EFI system. We are finally going to be trying something that I've always wanted to try. I've never used EFI in a carbureted engine, and this looks pretty cool. A lot of reviews on FITECH, good or bad, never like an in-between from what I've learned. But this one, the reason I chose FITECH, at least in this case, was number one, price. This was $1,250 for all of it, shipped to my door. And it comes with this force fuel system, which is super cool. It's like an auxiliary tank, which your mechanical fuel pump or electric will prime, that usually goes to your carburetor, will fill this up, and then you have a high pressure pump which feeds the throttle body injection TBI EFI system. This thing is so trick. If I get it out, I've already kind of tinkered with stuff, that's why it's not all wrapped like it was, but it's so cool. It has a gauge on it, tells you your fuel pressure. I'm not sure, I'm guessing this is part of the fuel pressure regulator if I had to guess. What else do we got here? So we got a return style fuel system, which is super convenient because this has a return style fuel system already on it. Fuel line, we got a filter, a lot of hose clamps and fittings as well. The TBI, this is the 600 horsepower one. I was gonna do the 400, but you know, why would I do such a thing when I have no idea what power this thing makes with the bored over 40 flat top pistons and the cam and heads I put on it. I was expecting less, but when I took the heads off and it had flat tops, I was like, oh, this engine's, it's been rebuilt on, and now it makes more power than I thought it was going to. So 600 horsepower, and what's so cool about the FITECH especially is the simplicity of it now is crazy. The ECU is built into the TBI itself. All the wiring harness is here. There's more wiring under this, I'm guessing. And the control box is so much better now. I was looking at reviews of these and they're all like 2017 and older. So this system has a much better box. The plug is a much better design. It's just a much nicer designed and hopefully a lot easier to use. The one thing that sucks though is this is an aluminum like they used to be. That's one thing that I'm a little mad about, but whatever. Coolant temperature sensor, all the good stuff, but we are gonna switch to this, and I've actually been logging since I've done the whole build on the truck how much fuel economy it gets, because right now gas prices are outrageous, and this is kind of a thing. I'm wondering if this will make it like it was with the original carburetor that was on this truck. So essentially when I was done with the truck, I drove it around, I was charting how much I was getting on gas mileage, and before I did the heads, cam, and everything, I left that original carburetor on it, and this thing was getting, what was it? It was like I have to look at I have it all written down, but it was like 18 miles per gallon, which is crazy for a small block Chevy. And this truck, I didn't understand it. So I started looking at it and I was like, you know what? This carburetor isn't running right. Let's swap to another Edelbrock, and I did an Edelbrock 650 carburetor, and that's on the truck currently, and that completely killed my gas mileage. It dropped it all the way down. I think the lowest I got was like 8, but it woke the engine up. So when I did everything, the thing didn't seem like it had any more power than it did originally. I mean, it would spin the tires much easier. It was a lot more peppy, but it wasn't faster. And I started looking at the old carburetor and I found out why. Okay, I give up. I've been looking for my tripod forever. So this was the carburetor that was on the truck, and it's a 600 CFM Edelbrock, and you know, everything's moving, functioning fine, but when I was using it, I had no power. I mean, when you hit a hill and you would get on it, it wouldn't work. I changed the metering rods, I changed the jet sizing, I've changed the spring rate on the metering rods, all that stuff, and it ran actually extremely well. It ran great from idle to snappy. It had really good throttle response. It didn't rev like I was expecting, but you know, that's fine. Here's where the problem was. If you flip the carburetor over, and as you can see, these are teeny tiny butterflies. They're super small, and this is where the problem really was. So you'd give it gas and you know, just fine. All of a sudden, that was it. That's all it would give you. And I didn't know this until after I took this off and I and I saw my drop in gas mileage and I went back to look at this, I just assumed that this thing was plugged up really bad, but it's probably fine. But the problem is this little guy right here is stuck, which I forget. There we go. It is stiff. So if I move that all the way the other way, which I'm sure this is like a choke mechanism piece, but now you would have all four. I wonder how much that was like. That's crazy to me, but yeah, now I would actually have had wide open throttle, especially seeing how big these are to these. That was killing, well, that was actually giving me the best gas mileage. But yeah, this little guy right here that is stuck down was actually the problem with this carburetor. But now I have two Edelbrock carburetors. One's a 600 and one's a 650. Bummer side is the 600, I had to do a bunch of tuning with it as well to get it where I got it now, and it's actually pretty good. The cold starts can be better, but that might be because I don't have the choke set very well. But this thing is probably just fine, so it stays on the shelf. Well, I guess I'll bring you up to speed. So if you're new to the channel, this is a small block Chevy that's been rebuilt. It's bored over 40 thousandths. When I got the truck, it had the stock heads, which are currently sitting right there. These are aluminum heads off of, well, you can get them on eBay. They're just Speedmaster heads. Cheap heads. The intakes in Edelbrock, just regular, I guess they call it like a day two. It's essentially the same as the cast iron one, just lighter and maybe a little bit better flow. Edelbrock 650 carb on it. It has a spacer because this has the like thermal quad, that's Mopar, Quadrajet. Has the Quadrajet style spread bore manifold. This is an adapter to the Edelbrock square bore. I'm trying to think if there's any other things I've done. Oh, headers, got that done. You can see I do a little bashing there. I think I kept everything on eBay with this whole thing, if I recall. It was eBay headers, eBay spark plug wires. Spark plugs are actually off of eBay as well. Deleted on the air conditioning. This is all done with license plates and some caulking. So never did hook up the heater. I have a new heater core for it, just never did it. Radiator's professionally mounted. It moves a lot. Oh, I just realized that moves. Gotta throw a bolt or some zip ties on that. But yeah, this is the system so far, what I've got. It does have a new starter on it. I had to do that because the one that was on it was making it very hard to start. But yeah, that's the engine right here. The air cleaner might be an issue. That is a tiny air cleaner, but I haven't had any tuning issues with it. Timing, I don't remember what I have it set to. I think it's at like 12 degrees initial, 34, 36 fully advanced. Can't quite remember. Power brakes, power steering, just a pretty basic small block Chevy build. But I think all in all, it was a pretty cheap build, being all of the cheapest parts I can get. It does have a cam in it, a Comp's cam. I can't remember all the specs. I think I have it in the glove box, but it was hard to find a good cam on eBay, and luckily Comp has well, it's actually Jegs has an eBay page. So you go on eBay, you can look stuff up and it'll come right from Jegs based off of eBay. So that was a little trick I did to make it where I can get all these parts off eBay for cheap, and I think that was the cheapest route was actually the eBay one. So a little trick there. But yeah, Speedmaster, Comp cams, Jegs, all of that was off of eBay, and I am very happy with the performance thus far. It's been just fine. The one thing I'm a little concerned about is mounting the force fuel auxiliary fuel tank. I was gonna mount it here, but you know, you're having a fuel canister here with the headers, and it just makes me a little nervous, but I guess it's okay. Oh, great. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a Black Widow right there. Oh, you can kind of see it. Yeah, oh yeah, that's nice. And I've been driving this thing. I'm not sure how that thing's there. All right, here's a pretty cool little thing. You could actually unbolt this here and mount it to the back side. So instead of mounting it like that, you could mount it flat if that's something you wanted to do. I'm just gonna mount it there so I can mount it up against the, whatever that is, core support. So I'm actually gonna mount it on the other side because there's a Black Widow over there, and frankly, I don't really want to get bit by one of those today, maybe tomorrow. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and get this all snipped in there. I'm just gonna probably run it with self-tappers because I'm lazy, and I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what that is. Allen wrench. You call them Allen wrenches or Allen keys? I call them Allen wrenches, or you could be like me and just use a screwdriver and have a different tip on it. Let's see. Stainless steel, wow. This is not a sponsored video. I just really enjoy when they use quality products. So I'll show you the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. This came out of my own pocket. I didn't get this for free. As much as I would have liked it to be free. Good night of living. But yeah, a few things looks like they've been changed since the videos that I've seen on YouTube and stuff. So, gosh. I guess they were intending you mounting it that way because that was on tighter than my wallet. Goodness gracious. There we go. Ooh, fancy. Okay, there we go. It's just like that. I bet I could get a screw in that. So this is mounting over here now. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I could get 2 screws like that. Actually, I could get 3 just fine. All right, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I got a plan. That's crazy. I'm only gonna run 2 screws for now. And what I'll probably try to do is to get this grill off. And when I have it off, I'll definitely just drill some holes in this and run like a long nut and bolt. And then while I'm there, I might actually change those screws to nuts and bolts. Okay, so right there. Wow, not bad. Man, that's really thick metal actually. I didn't think it was that thick. Or I just couldn't get wide open throttle, I don't know. It's known for this truck. I don't even know if this one's giving me wide open. I never checked that. That's silly to check that. Assume it's simple. Oh, that's why you bring extra screws, because you know they're just gonna all fall down into your wheel well and end up in your tire later. Oh, no, it's right there. We're good. Then you wonder where all those bolts go to or come from. All right, she's mounted solid. Oh yeah. That's what you want to see. If you're ever in the market for a new drill bit brand or anything, Makita Cobalts, the Quad Edge, these things are absolutely insane. Highly recommend them. I got them for another truck I bought recently. I haven't had it on camera yet, but it was definitely a needed thing. Now, is it crooked? It looks actually very straight. I guess it's a little crooked. That's fine. So this actually went very well. I got the bolt in. I had to drill a hole in this nice solid metal, but the caster nut doesn't quite go all the way in, but it does enough. And this thing is just solid now, which is perfect. I don't remember what was here originally. It might have been an AC thing, or it could have also potentially been a reservoir to take the, this goes to the fuel tank right here. This is the vent. It like sucks out fumes from the engine compartment or from the gas tank and burns it into it was an emissions thing. So it's kind of another reservoir thing here, pretty cool. Just gonna have to run more fuel line, which I guess is okay. Almost wondering if I could potentially use this as my thing, but I'm guessing not. But man, that'd be too simple, wouldn't it? And this is going to this one right here is gonna go right to the FITECH, which is actually on this side anyway, the inlet, so I'll run that. Probably, I was gonna run it against the frame here, but there's a lot of moving parts and things, so I'll probably actually try to run it up here against the firewall, back on up over here, maybe even through this hole right here, and then right into the FITECH right there, make it look a little cleaner. But yeah, so far so good. Keep plugging and chugging. I've got updates. So the old fuel line went up here, blah, 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 went up in here into the carburetor. It's actually still right here. I'm gonna use this. I just remembered I need to have that hooked up apparently. So this is the old hardline. All I did was, you can actually see it, I just took it out, twisted it around where it's pointed down. It goes underneath the radiator hose, hooks up there. It's out of the way of everything. I would like to actually make it go straight over and down, but we'll work with that right now just because it was the fastest and most simplest way. Then it comes up here, zip tied to the power steering line up into the force fuel tank here. So we got fuel line in. I did actually hook up this guy. This is the return, and it is hooked up to the vent. Now that I forgot, this thing has saddle tanks, so there's one on this side and this side. So the vent, I believe, has a T in it, which goes over to whatever side. Now the problem is, if I'm running this thing like on this tank and it's running good, I would usually just say, oh, it's fine, whatever, let it split in between both. There's one issue. The big issue is this tank works on the driver's side. On the passenger side, it leaks out profusely, apparently. So we'll have to disconnect the T and just hook it up to the driver's side, at least for now, until I fix it. Once it's fixed, I can actually just take the vent one and hook it up to the old return line system. But this made me wonder right here. I was just gonna hook it up here, but I started thinking, what happens if this still tries to do a return when that fills up? I don't know how that works. Does this actually still return? And if I have this disconnected, it's just gonna dump fuel everywhere. If that's the case, then I have to hook up a T here to that line, and it's a lot of stuff to, or a T there into the vent system. So the return system is gonna need to be fixed correctly, but for now it will work. I'll just have it run off the one tank because I don't have the passenger tank fixed yet. Okay, so I don't know where I left you off, but that's mounted. I've started doing some wiring. The main fuel is hooked up there. You don't need a return, so the return is plugged because we have one right here. This is all hooked up. I added a filter before the fancy pump, and we have one before the fancy throttle body. So this is all tightened up. I made sure these were tight. Just so you know, this one was loose, so don't just assume these are tight. I'm glad I checked that. So starting wiring, oxygen sensors right here. I actually have a giant drill bit, so I could almost just drill this in there, and that might just clear. I don't have to go to the store and get like a paddle bit, which is something I've avoided doing. Coolant temperature sensors hooked up, zip tied so it doesn't burn on the header. Fuel's hooked up. I mean, really all that we have left is when we started, we're gonna hopefully have a huge fuel leak in the back. I have that all disconnected. I think it's the vent system. And if that's the case, then I know I could just plug it back in the right way. Trying to think, I got this mounted. This is kind of a downside, is they said there's no like mounting stuff there's no drilling or something like that, where they make it sound like you just plug that all in and then you're good, but this does need mounted. This has your main hookup here, and these are all your other stuff, which is like your tack, your ground. I think the yellow does an electric fan, which we don't need to worry about. Good Lord, I think that's it. Just tidy up some wiring and we'll be starting this thing up. I got the diagram laid out here. So we have an HEI style distributor. Nothing crazy. Yeah, see what I mean? Yellow is the electric fan. Pretty simple setup. But wiring is pretty simple on this. I mean, you got they have every diagram you could ever need in there, but even the wiring's simple. It even tells you pump. It comes with everything you need. This was a little tricky getting on, but I got the ground hooked up. I did hook up that loose ground that was flopping around down there. So yeah, as soon as we get everything hooked up, we should be priming the fuel system and hopefully starting this thing real soon. Okay. Now that it's hooked up, I already went through this whole thing. This is super easy. So, I'm in that. So let's see, we're gonna go back. This is your gauges. I was playing around with that. And so next, this is nice. Look how good the touchscreen is on this. So you go EFI initial setup, and you just put in like your information essentially. It also has these nice buttons. So you have engine setup. Oh, key on, obviously. Fuel pump's working. There it goes. So initial setup, engine setup, connect to ECU, cylinders. I just realized, so cubic inch, I said 356. It is a 350 board 40 over, so it should be like what, a 357. Cam 1 to 4, I put 3. 2 would be kind of like your RV cams, I'm guessing. Idle, warm, ethanol, 8% ethanol, all that good stuff. Nothing really here. Once you have that done, I wonder what this does. DTC, I have no idea what that is. We'll just move on. Display setup. Oh, I see. So you could change what language. Sound off. Well, that's cool. Sleep mode enabled. Okay. Alrighty, so nothing changing here. But I was playing around with these. Oh, my bad. The large gauges. So this is cool. So essentially I could look at attack, which I have the Bosch tack, but I could have attack, my map, vacuum, air fuel ratio, which I want to see, gear state, that's pretty cool, vehicle speed, I don't know how, it's smart, coolant temperature, fans, throttle position sensor, that's pretty cool, injection percentage, that's a lot you can get out of this. IAC, I think we want that on for now. So now we're gonna go back, hit large gauges, okay. 223. Well, when it's running, we're going to try to get this number down between, I think it was 1 and 10, so we got a ways to go. But we should also see as it's turning over a RPM, oh, 93 degrees. It's pretty warm out. So, key on. Let's check if we have fuel pressure and we don't have any leaks. I saw about almost 60, so it's pretty good. I don't see any fuel leaks. Smell gas, so I'm sure it's pumping gas down in there. Looks shiny. No idea how this is gonna go. We're gonna go ahead and turn it over and see if she'll just bark to life. She essentially should. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so usually a carburetor, you'd pump it, but nothing. I'm also noticing no signal. Why are we not getting an RPM signal? I think I need to look into my wiring. This was moving. Check that out. I heard a click. Shut off. Okay, let me look into the wiring here. I should have snorted right up. Well, just for doo-doo and gagas and stuff like that, we're hooking up a wire directly from the battery to the white wire over there to see if that was our issue. I had it just plugged into the battery terminal on the distributor, so it's always powered right now somehow, potentially. We'll see real quick. So it shouldn't, I mean, this will tell me a little bit. No, so I need to reset that real quick so I can prime the fuel system. I guess it'd be best to do it right here. There we go. Oh, I just saw a bunch of fuel come out of there, so it isn't a fueling issue. And this will tell us if it will at least try to start now. Let's see if we get signal. Oh, there it goes. It's trying. It's trying. It's figuring it out. Wow, so that was the issue. Let it learn a little bit here. Wow. Well, there you go. That was the problem. It's getting better. Oh, the belt. It just needs to warm up a little. RPM's going up. We need to adjust this. I don't like, there it goes, it stopped. Ish. That is horrible. I really should have addressed that. We need to get this IAC down, but we're gonna let it warm up a bit. Should I thump the gas or let it just keep learning? Okay, I touched the gas a little. It's a good sign. This is, I guess it's pretty accurate. Cool. Look at that, guys. It's running with EFI on it. We should probably look for leaks. Like that. That's a pretty bad leak we need to address. So we'll shut it off. off and fix that giant fuel leak. And then, yeah, we're looking good, but that fuel leak's kind of put a dampener on. We're running pretty good. We gotta do something about this belt. It's this guy. Oh, it's hot too, but I think it's because I have this just tilted a little bit. Oh my gosh, this is blue. Okay, I'm sure it's fine. This thing was super low because I took out that plug in the side of the engine, so I think I lost a lot of coolant, which might have been making it run a little funny because it wasn't getting accurate temperature. Wow. Yeah, it's full of air, but we'll address this real quick. Top it off with some Asian coolant, I'm guessing. Blue antifreeze and coolant, 50-50, pretty mixed. I also tinkered with the belt and it still was screaming its head off, so we're gonna look at that some more, see if we can get that to shut up finally, and then we'll get to just getting it tuned up. But it seems like it's doing pretty good so far. Then I still need to go to the store and get a T to hook up on that vacuum line there, so I could hook up the transmission and we can actually drive this thing. Just remembered. Yeah, I gotta do something about the oxygen sensor plug. It's right on the header. We don't want to melt that because that looks pretty complicated, all the wires to that. But let me get a few things hooked up here and we'll start playing around with the belt. Let's start this thing up. It'll be a true cold start now because it's colder than it ever has been. Man, these spiders are back again. Now the old plug used to be like one of these, a little micro USB and a headphone jack. So now that's on one plug on this nice cotton wrapped wire. Forget what they call that, like paracord wrap. RPM. I really don't care about AFR right now. I'm really after IAC, RPM, and also coolant. Which we're sure that's wrong. So let's go back, dashboard. I'm just gonna see if this does it too. So off, we're gonna let that go back in. Let it go to 0 and hopefully that will save that too. I heard a click. Oh, there we go. Keep back on. Oh good, that switch is really bad. Now that value's spooky. We're just gonna ignore the 58,000 RPM and large gauges. All right, I remembered. Let's see what it does. How do I start it again? This? Wow, almost immediately started right up. So once we get the coolant above like 150, I'm gonna start playing around with that IAC. I got this not attached to anything, so I could actually take it out there and hopefully adjust it, and we'll see if we could get that number. We'll see if we can get that number below 10. All right, it's up to temp. Belt's actually quiet. We're gonna start adjusting this. I thought there was a setting I had to change, but I guess not. So the number's high, you gotta screw it clockwise. I believe it's going up, but maybe I gotta keep going. I'm starting to figure it out. So we gotta reset the value every time. I got it now at 22. I might actually be able to get it down. So what I'm doing is, here, I'll just do it real quick. What we do is we're gonna adjust this clockwise to give it more idle. So you hear the engine kick up. It's probably gonna drop down now. So there we go, we got it. Anyways, what I was doing is I was raising the idle, and then I actually gotta turn it down, but I would go to back, while it's running even, I'd go to my Go EFI tuning, and then go to idle control, connect to ECU, and I'd go all the way down to idle set throttle position sensor 0, switched it to all 0, send to ECU, and then it would actually start dropping and you'd have to keep adjusting it. I think I got it. That's where I want it, right there. Timing is bad. I gotta do. It has just a little touch too much timing. And he's 8 now, belt. Okay, definitely need the check valve on the brakes. Oh boy, it's spunkier. Oh boy. Does not return to idle very good. Still has that little hesitation though. It's always had that, even with the carburetor. For a second. Oh, I like where that's at. That was pretty good. I think I gotta give it just a little bit more RPM because we're idling at, in gear 750. That's correct, actually. I might need like 800 because of this torque converter and cam setup. Second. Oh, dang. I got the TV cable right the first time. There's third. Oh, I'm out of gas. I am really low on gas now. Great. So, short test drive because I need to get gas. So we're going to do a little bit of tuning on it and see if we can adjust that initial tip in. Okay, so let's start with the hanging idle issue I'm getting with this. So first you're going to go to EFI tuning, idle control, and this is where we're going to pay attention to. So decel IAC, this was at 0. I lowered it to 10. It's at 10.2 now. It goes all the way to 90. So we got that at 10. Loop rate down, this was at 5. I put that at 15. Loop rate up was at, I think it was 15. I went to 25. So I just went 10 on each way. So loop rate down, or no, oh, decel. So decel IAC, there's a video really good explaining this, is essentially when you let off the gas, how quick it returns to idle on decel. So I was at 0, I'm at 10. I would probably end up going to 20 if I don't like it. Loop rate down and up. This is about how your throttle response is if it's not good enough for you. So now that we got this set, we'll just, it's already there, but send to ECU. And now we get to tackling the accelerator pump, getting that set a lot better. We're gonna now adjust the accelerator pump. So here, I'll go back so I can show you. So we're gonna go to Go EFI Tuning, accelerator pump. And so these are your just normal driving, different temperatures. So 20 degrees, how much you want, 19%, 65 degrees, and 170 degrees. These are how much initial shot of fuel it's giving you. And you may notice they're at 0, which is wrong. We're gonna actually increase that. And then these are your wide open throttle when you're giving it the beans. They're at 0. So we're gonna increase, I'm just gonna increase them both 10%. All the way across. I'm gonna leave the cold one because I have not actually got into wintertime yet, but when it gets cold I'll have to adjust it. But they're at 0, which I don't know if that's what it should have been at, but we're gonna increase that. Send to ECU, was sent back, and that should have done it. Think it'll work? No. Try again. Just normal taking off from light. I think it's better. Okay. Oh, we're also gonna do that idle. That's pretty bad. So down, we're gonna go to 20. Wow, returns to idle good now. I'm gonna go to 20, 30. Oh, that's better. Okay. I like the way that felt. I think I need to go up a little bit higher in the fast area versus the regular. I think that regular is just like this driving, which feels fine now actually. I'm gonna now go back into it. That feels great actually. So the normal just pushing in slowly feels great. It's that fast initial one that we're gonna work on right now. I bet it would actually do a burnout if I just stomp on the brake and slowly work in the throttle, but I like how it actually went back to idle really quick too. I might actually do a little bit more to that. You know what, I'll do that really quickly. Let's try a burnout. Oh, nope. Doesn't like half throttle. Still spinning up. Still spinning. Okay, it's done. Oh, the half throttle needs a little work. It just needs a little bit more. Oh my gosh. It was just climbing in RPM and I was just barely giving it gas, and when I got to that half throttle point, it did a little bit and then it went away. Oh, sweet. Coolant temp didn't go up at all. Air fuel ratio stayed good. So I'm pretty sure I got this dialed now. This one's at 20, which is way too low. We're gonna do 30. And this one we'll do like 50. I wanna give it as much fuel as I can. All right, my wife is on the deck. Should I do a burnout right in my driveway? Yeah, I think so. Just one to show off the power compared to her Crown Vic, right? Yeah, that smoke cloud right there in the window is not me. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It just spins the tires for no reason. If you ever are on the fence about getting a FITECH, well, you could just kind of copy what I did and it'll work just fine. You just got to play around with the tuning. I think I got it dialed. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I do got to say thanks to all those other YouTubers that have put videos up about these because they're very helpful. If I helped you out, just let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. Hopefully I can answer those. But yeah, thank you very much and I'll see you in the next one.